and good morning. It is Wednesday morning, and what a beautiful day it's going to be, I'm guessing. Someone has to work today. JC?
Not me, just an hour a day. Good morning, I'm Jamie Cooper. Thank y'all for getting up with us. This is Athens in the AM, as Gloria just told you, on a Wednesday morning edition. Cooper and Company Live, the longest running morning show in Huntsville television history. Probably. Just wanted to say that this morning. Join me this morning. Tom got on some shorts but ain't tan. Seth in here this morning working out already. Good morning, Seth.
Good morning.
Yeah, 10% off today at Herbs and More.
10% off.
Mention me or Tom's legs. 10% off.
Yeah.
10% off over at Herbs and More. We'll talk with Seth in just a little bit on how you need to stay healthy. Frank on here this morning on the phone at 23049. Hey, feeling better, Frank?
I'm feeling better now.
You know, Frank, I hate to make fun of you, but I'm going to make fun of you. Frank said, I'll be back in a little bit. I got to run home. I said, Frank. He said, nature calls. We got indoor plumbing here, Frank.
You got to go, you got to go.
I believe it. So Frank did 108 getting home 20 miles away and then came back. And yeah, so he had to go. Hey, I want to do got to do a shout out this morning. Greg and Joe Crow brought me a ton of maters yesterday. I'm stacking them up, Frank. I'm eating them as fast as I can. That's a good weight loss remedy. You know, Seth, if you eat 2 or 3 tomatoes, they'll run right through you.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. Good dietary supplement right here. Get tomatoes at Herbs and More. Just do something like that. Got a lot of stuff to talk about on this Wednesday morning edition of Cooper Company Live. I was also down at the farmer's market yesterday. I went by there, and I know there's a little controversy going on over there, so I decided to go by and shoot a little video. We'll have that coming up for you. Jeanette Donovan going to join us later on this morning also. And Clements Baptist Church got something going on out there. Glenn will be with us in just a little bit. And we'll talk a little LSU football possibly with him. Johnny Lee D. He's not with us this morning, sleeping in late, having a good time, so we'll see Johnny Lee next week, and we'll see him this Sunday at church. Let's get it cranking today. It's going to be another hot one, and I'm going to be traveling westward over to the Shoals area this morning for an all-day trip with my Entourage, yeah. So let's get it cranking. Here's the weather for the day.
That's right. You leave Johnny Lee Dees alone. He's spending some good quality time with his wife. So, anyway, let's talk about that weather forecast. 75, 76 degrees out there. Already a hot one, and temperatures, we're going to see much of what we saw yesterday. It kind of smelled like rain yesterday afternoon. 89 for your high, 72 for your low with those pop-up thunderstorms in the forecast. Only about 20% chance of rain in the early hours, but around 4 o'clock that jumps up to around 40% chance of those showers. So hopefully those storms will come in later in the evening. And tomorrow 90% or 90 rather for your high, 72 for your low. Still rain in the forecast. That's pretty much the same thing for a week. So just keep an umbrella close. You may need it.
Seth, how are you?
Be on the phone with Frank.
Wonderful. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. So you going to read the 50 Shades of Grey? Is that what I heard somebody talk about this morning?
Yeah, I had somebody tell me that if I would read this book that I would now understand women.
We don't understand.
You're going to have to read a whole lot more than that.
That's right.
We still haven't had a whole lot of luck on finding out a lot of stuff about the 50 Shades of Grey.
I just got one message yesterday on Facebook saying they downloaded it, they got bored with it, it was graphic and trashy, so that was the only thing.
Sounds like my kind of book.
So do I need to read it and report back?
Yeah, I need to report weekly on that. Hey, let me report some sad news this morning. A friend of mine, old buddy, veteran journalist Chris Bell, died at 76 years old. He was from Decatur, worked for the Huntsville Times for 42 years. That picture he's holding right there is him interviewing Dr. Martin Luther King. Chris had a phenomenal career. I'll talk more about it later when I do the news this morning, but died at 76. He was over in Moulton in a nursing home. He also, get this, believe it or not, Tom, he broke the story. Jennifer Flowers in January of '92 that threatened Bill Clinton's presidential aspirations. If y'all remember that, that was like the first start to come out that we knew Clinton was some sort on the ladies' side. But he also did a lot of stuff. He was also with Governor Wallace when he opened the blinds at Tuscaloosa and looked out, and before he made the stand in the court and in the doorway there. And then interviewed Martin Luther King, and you know. And also was one of the only people ever to interview confessed killer of Martin Luther King Jr., James Earl Ray. So Chris Bell was phenomenon in the industry. So he passed away yesterday.
Tom said he did a lot in the Athens area too.
Yeah, he was in Athens a whole lot.
Yeah.
Always working for the Huntsville Times. And by the way, let me talk about the Huntsville Times again this morning. I'm a little
You're
shocked.
happy.
You know, they started to quit printing. They sold their presses and everything. Now they're printing in Birmingham. We don't go to 3 days a week until September. Well, it's all week. This morning, I went and got McAlister Gailey at 2:30. Take Zorro out at 3:15. Lo and behold, Huntsville Times arrived. So, hey, even though they truck it in, it's still on time. So not a lot of y'all up at that time of day, but you know, I was out and about.
Just about
I noticed you didn't qualify, Tom, yesterday.
Well, I went down there to fill out the papers, but I just didn't have enough money.
All right, in case y'all did not hear yesterday, Tom called me. Sorry I missed the chamber deal yesterday. I forgot all about it, actually. Mignon decided not to run for District 1, formerly held by Johnny Crutcher, our old buddy there. So that leaves, a couple people there running against each other. The only new one actually yesterday was J. Bradley Brad Horner of Athens to qualify to run for mayor. So that leaves Mayor Ronnie Marks, retiree Ralph Richardson, and former councilman Jerry Hill. And this new guy, who I think it goes on to say he used to be a councilman years ago. Harold Wells, you are re-elected for 4 more years, and congratulations also to Jimmy Gill. So if you don't, no write-ins now, you cannot write in. In the city elections, it is against the law. You cannot write in on that.
It's against the law.
Not against the law, but
You get locked up for that?
write me in anyway, okay? Write me in anyway. Write me in anyway. That's what we need to do.
So they're in.
They're in.
No opposition.
No opposition. Seth, coming up this week's a big week on the fight over sugary drinks gearing up in New York. That comes up. Public hearing in New York City proposed ban is a week away. Soft drink makers and sellers have deployed a PR and advertising assault to rally opposition because they are against it. In particular, here's the reason. Fountain drinks, which often get marked up 10 to 15 times the cost, are big money makers for convenience stores.
Unlike jewelry, unlike other things. But okay, look at the damage cigarettes do, and they don't ban that, but don't drink the Pepsi.
But okay, Corey, hand me that.
That's beside the point.
Cup, please.
You should be able to do whatever you want. I thought
That's what they're saying.
Yeah. Freedom of
you can no
choice.
longer buy these in New York if they pass this. However, here's the difference.
Just buy 2 instead.
We're not banning you from getting the stuff. If you want 32 ounces, and that's 32 ounces, the restaurant will serve it in 2 cups, not 1.
Oh, that's
Now, what?
Brilliant, yeah.
There's a brilliant idea for you.
What if you bring your own cup?
Well,
Pour them both in there. Then
So-
you go to jail?
huh?
That is so dumb.
All right, you can't buy 1 of these, but you can get 2 of these in a smaller cup.
In a
Now,
smaller-
that makes a lot of sense. Huh?
Well,
Yeah.
what are they going to
getting
ban
it.
next? I mean, are they going to ban Twinkies because people are overweight? Are they going to...
That's next.
I mean, when does it stop? When
Speaking of old weight, you saw where Sheriff Blakely arrested that guy over the weekend, didn't you?
No.
Went to pick him up, wouldn't fit in the back of the car, had to get sent a pickup truck, put him in the back, weighed 700 pounds.
That sounds like Blakely. Hey, just bring the pickup truck down. We'll get him.
All right, yeah. All right, y'all know I told you last week Andy Griffith passed away, and I told you about one of our favorite movies, A Face in the Crowd. You can see that tonight. Now, I know most of you have never seen that before. Frank, you ever seen it?
It's a good movie.
Crowd will be a revelation of fans of Andy Griffith. It's going to be on TMC tonight, noon and 12:30 p.m. is when it will start. Facing the Crowd airs at 7 today. It was written in 1957. Griffin is a swaggering sexual appeal that was all but forbidden on television at the time. He plays Lonesome Rhodes, a guitar-playing Arkansas drifter plucked from jail in obscurity by Patricia Neal, a local radio producer. They got local television producer, which is wrong. He was...
Radio.
She is seduced in every meaning of the word by his intoxicating charisma.
Charisma.
The intoxicating charisma I got.
What is that about?
That means you know what I'm talking about. Much like Elvis Presley and Jamie Cooper, Rose became a Memphis sensation before breaking onto the national scene.
That's you in Nashville.
And Crowd reflects his intense fear of television potential. Anyway, a lot like Jamie Cooper, the local version here on ZTV and Cooper and Company. And then they air No Time for Sergeants and stuff like that.
So should we leave your microphone up?
You can if you want. You can if you want.
I've never seen Andy Griffith as a sexual guy.
Well, in this
myself.
movie, this was his first movie ever.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great.
It really
he gets arrested for being a drunk, and they put him in jail, and then this little girl interviews him,
So
and he becomes a hit. And then he goes to Memphis in the early days of television, just like Benny Carl that we'll be interviewing today over in Florence. How many of y'all grew up watching Benny Carl on TV?
I never.
Frank?
Sure did.
Right.
Did you?
Benny who?
Okay. All right, let me do a Dear Jamie this morning. It's out in News Courier, then I got one other thing we'll do. Dad uncertain about obtaining paternity test. Abby, you don't have to listen to this if you don't want to. So I've been married to two amazing women. I work away from home. She managed to take care of everything. She also is a caregiver for her mother, and you know, she's just a good kid. We got one kid. Well, I got a 4-year-old with my ex. Well, recently, and he said I regularly pay child support. But until recently, I haven't been able to see much of him. But they're saying my ex has been uncooperative and everything. The problem is, there's always been speculation about whether the boy is really my biological child.
Uh-oh.
My wife says she prefers to know he's mine before she undertakes such a huge responsibility. Well, let me tell you how that's going to work. You can't wait 4 years later and go back and test paternity. Abby, I need a blood test.
Those days are.
If that little kid didn't look so much like me, I'd be worried.
Legally, I mean, no, that 4 years, that's too late.
Yeah, if you've already signed off on that kid when the day it was born, you are obligated for the rest of your
Well, no, from the divorce.
till he's 19.
From the divorce.
Huh?
If you're already paying child support on that child, it doesn't matter if you find out later. It's not.
Yeah, no, you
Should have
can't
done
go
it
back
before
and
the
change. You
divorce.
can't get money back. Let's just put it that way.
Do it before the divorce.
But the guy did go and say, he said, I love the child. He said, he said, I really don't want to know because I love the
'Cause I love
child.
the child
So, you know,
anyway,
so
yeah.
that makes that good. So,
But dear Abby's saying you should find out because then the child has a right to know what the real medical records are from the real father.
believe me, if
Tough
I could go back in time and look at my kids and determine that they weren't mine, I'd do it in a heartbeat. Have y'all met them?
Stop it.
Well, there's one of them now. But I'm probably keep her
She's
because
gonna
of,
quit.
yeah, okay, yeah. Way to go, Abby. I'm not talking about you.
Corey.
I'm talking about your brother.
Well, quit.
Raise your hand, Corey, so they know which one's you. Corey's the one with the long hair. All right, one last thing this morning. In the paper this morning, they've got, in their Facebook deal, they got, what is the most ridiculous title of a country song you've ever heard?
Ooh, I don't know. I don't listen to a lot.
She thinks my tractor's sexy. There's one.
I like that
That's
song.
a cute song.
Queen of my double-wide trailer.
That's a funny song.
Yeah.
Did I shave my legs for this?
I haven't heard that one.
No.
That's a good one.
If you don't believe I love you, just ask my wife.
Ooh,
If I said you had a beautiful body, would you hold it against me?
that's a good song.
Would you?
I thought that was a Britney Spears song.
And then
No, it's a
and then here's one, Some Beach.
Somebody.
Somewhere.
Is that Kenny Chesney or something like that?
If my nose was running money, honey, I'd spend it all on you.
No,
That's Mike Snyder, Frank.
I blow it all on you.
I'd blow it all on you, Frank says.
Well, he says here, I'd spend it all on you. Achy breaky heart.
Yeah.
Better right.
Nice mullet.
And one I never ever understood, Muskrat Love.
Muskrat.
Love. I mean, who's ever seen two muskrats getting it on?
Wants to.
Yeah,
Had lately.
Speaking of muskrats, I saw a thing on Fox News yesterday. This military cemetery for Confederate, all type of soldiers, they would keep putting these little flags out. Have y'all seen this?
No.
These veterans kept putting these flags out all over these graves. Well, somebody came in and stole all of them.
Uh-huh.
Well, they did it again, and then they offered a $500 reward.
So the thief
Somebody
turned
did it
himself
again.
in? Oh,
So they set up a camera.
smart.
You know what it was? Groundhogs.
No way.
Yes, groundhogs were coming out, just like honey badger.
LSU fan just walked in the door. Glenn. See, that's
He-
And
bad.
stealing the flags, stealing the American flags off the graves,
What were they doing with them?
putting them down in their little holes wherever they live. But groundhogs are that smart, evidently.
Well.
Or patriotic ones.
Patriotic.
Groundhog.
Patriotic.
We got Roll Tide, Glenn. Dan Price in here this morning. Did you convert yet?
He's still
Oh,
an
okay.
LSU fan. That's okay.
We're going to beat y'all again this year. Y'all going to be embarrassed again. I can't wait to talk
Quit
to you.
insulting our guests.
Clemens Baptist Church got something going on. We'll check with them in just a little bit. All right, we'll take a break on this Wednesday morning edition of Cooper Company Live. You need me for anything?
No.
Hold it or
Call me.
text
Yeah,
Gloria.
call me.
603-4840. We'll take a break. Be right back. Y'all hang on.